उससे पहले कुछ अपडेट्स मैं अपने दर्शकों को बता दूं। पीएम मोदी, जैसा कि आपको हम बता रहे हैं, कि ऑस्ट्रिया के दौरे पर हैं और प्रधानमंत्री की मध्य यूरोपीय देश की यात्रा के महत्व पर भारत में ऑस्ट्रिया की राजदूत कैथरीना वीसर से डीडी न्यूज के हमारे सहयोगी अमृतपाल सिंह ने खास बातचीत की है। आइए वो हम आपको सुनाते हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in the Austrian capital Vienna on Tuesday evening for a bilateral visit. It is an important visit to a Central European country because this visit comes after 41 years that an Indian Prime Minister visits Austria. To talk more about that visit, I have with me the Austrian Ambassador to India, Katharina Wieser. Thank you, Ambassador Wieser, for speaking to us. How important is this visit and why is this visit so important?
Thank you for inviting me. And yes, you're right, this is really a very important visit for us. It is the first visit of an Indian Prime Minister, as you mentioned, after 41 years to Austria, 40 years after an Austrian Federal Chancellor visited India. And this visit is taking place in a year when we are celebrating 75 years of bilateral relations. So we are happy about that fact also, that this high-level visit is now sort of a manifestation of the very good place that we are in at the level of our bilateral relations.
How close are the political relations between the two countries, Ambassador?
I think we can really say that we have an excellent and long-standing good relationship. So all through these 75 years, there have never been really bad phases that we had to overcome. We've had a very steady and long-lasting good relationship with each other, but I think we can say that in the past years there has been a special dynamic in our relationship. Also at the political level, there have been several political meetings between our foreign ministers in particular. They have met 7-8 times over the past 2 years. They've established a very good working relationship with each other. Last year, 2 years ago, the speakers of both houses of Austrian Parliament came to visit India. The Austrian Minister of Labour and Economy came and visited this year for a whole week. And also Prime Minister Modi actually met our foreign minister when he briefly was Chancellor of the Republic of Austria in Glasgow in the margins of one of the COP meetings. So in the past years at the political level also there have been many, many visits. Minister Jaishankar came to Vienna at the beginning of last year. Also after a long period, I think of 27 years when no Indian foreign minister had visited Austria.
Excellency, if we talk about the economic relations between the two countries, the bilateral trade last year was close to about $3 billion US dollars. Do you see more potential for increasing this and increased bilateral cooperation, economic cooperation, and would that figure in the talks between the two leaders?
Absolutely. So our bilateral economic and business relationship is a very important central part of our bilateral relationship. We have been improving that also over the past years. There's more interest, not only from Austrian companies, but also from other companies. There's a more international focus and interest also in what is happening in India. And also from Austrian company side, obviously. We have 150 Austrian, so subsidiaries of Austrian companies in India. Austria is well known as a high-tech country. So that is what we do. We are very, very good in that sector. And that is also central to our business engagement in India. So we are very much into high-tech machinery and tools. Many of our companies are invested in infrastructure development. You will find Austrian companies everywhere, whether it's the railway sector or water power sector or smart cities development or automotive sector, for example.
Ambassador, when the Austrian Labour Minister was here this February, there was an understanding on a startup bridge which has been talked for a very long time. This time when the Prime Minister meets the CEOs at the business forum, there are a sizable number of CEOs from the startups as well participating. So where is that partnership going?
Startups is sort of, in everybody's mouth nowadays. You are right, bilateral startup bridge was launched in the presence of the Austrian Minister of Labour and Economy when he came to visit India in February. But even before that, startup cooperation had been going on. There were 5 startup missions going both ways. Austria is a very important startup ecosystem, a startup ecosystem. I think there are nearly 4,000 startups in Austria, and we're trying at the regulatory level also to do a lot to promote startups. India, as we know, is also a very good startup ecosystem. So obviously, it was logical that we would try and cooperate more at that level. We think innovation is important to meet the challenges of the future. So I think both of our countries are putting a focus on startups, so the bilateral startup bridge gave that another boost.